I'm presently trying different ways to forget myself when I relate to something. For example, if I look at an object like a tennis ball, what would you do to withdraw yourself, forget yourself, while observing in contemplation the object in order to see its true nature? Are there ways to deepen and maintain such a state?
That's a tough question people have been struggling with since who knows when, and it's not a help that you've begun the question with the very thing you're trying to forget. It's interesting you use the word contemplation, because at least in some disciplines, that is exactly what contemplation is, the release of subjective self-consciousness so as to engage something else completely. To do that, one has to have a consciousness or depth of appreciation for the thing in question, tennis ball, movement, person, idea. That is, the process of letting go of oneself so as to become one with another necessitates a greater fascination for it than for oneself. Perhaps it is easiest to understand this if you consider the idea as it relates to something you already have a great appreciation for, such as someone you love. Traditionally, true contemplation involves an act of devotion, wherein self-consciousness is removed by transferring consciousness onto the thing at hand. The better you perceive it, the less you observe yourself doing that. In other words, you could say that, at least for the extended moments of engaging it, you love it more than yourself. Appreciation, affection, focus, and intention fill up the space of self-reflection, and one loses oneself in the engagement. And what a relief it is when you get there. Technically, to do this, one has to have a lot of imagination. One has to sense or intuit the mystery and value of the other, whatever that may be. It's a tiny thread, something beautiful or compelling, and you follow it with focus and care. As you follow it, temptations arise to stop the movement towards it. Things like opinions, fears, destructive thoughts, and even pleasant sensations or emotions that can cause increased self-consciousness, like, I feel really good now. If you can remain relentless in the engagement, sacrificing the temptations for this thread of compellingness, you begin to sense a loosening of the hold of control on yourself. The thing becomes more fascinating than the control. For myself, this is not passive. Somehow I have to give something away to get to it. I have to sacrifice the defining characteristic of devotion, some hold on something to qualify for a more complete engagement. That may be my own intentions associated with the effort, or my opinion and frustration that I have failed up to now to do so, or my self-righteousness or pride that I have done everything that I know to do it. These are all part of me still. To break the hypnotism, I simply look deeper into what I am engaging. I leave behind the last sticking points by a humble acceptance of things as they are. I give up my ambition itself, trying to get to it or to become it. I begin to see or experience details I have not seen before, and I study these with curiosity, demanding no more. In that humble curiosity, worthiness is created, and I can then accept the flow of elements toward me. I have bent toward it, and it bends toward me. a bond is made, and we know how to relate to each other precisely. But to keep that bond, I have to stay devoted to its requirements and not retreat to my own. It's kind of an act of trust. I don't understand what will happen, but I know, imagine, intuit the value of the mystery is hidden there, and I move forward anyway. The more I move toward it, the more it moves toward me. On a psychological and physiological level, the habits of contraction are often caused by the desire to control or acquire, even to acquire generosity or devotion or emptiness. These are subtle and take time to identify and release. Under this is the desire for self-gain or improvement, to win something or better something. Those intentions are healthy enough up to a point, but to really see and engage what you have in front of you, you have to intend that it gains or wins. To see what it is, or to perceive what its nature is, you have to truly intend to give something back, to fulfill the trust it is giving to you, to create the possibility for surprise, and this is what one is looking for here. You have to clear your conscience of the desire to gain from it. From there, it all becomes simple. You remove the I from the equation. Physically, one can often begin this process by greater care for and appreciation of breathing, exhaling slower and more voluptuously, physically giving the breath away and pausing when none is left, then letting the inhale do whatever it wants. With each exhale, it is possible to imagine or sense a very slight smooth movement toward whatever is in front of you, ball, movement, person, idea. You can forget most of yourself simply by doing this. Then the rest begins as you plug into what is compelling. Then devote to it. Then humbly let whatever happened take place, adapting to that and making the necessary adjustments along the way. This may read like a treatise on metaphysics, but it's just a description of, for example, how to play tennis well. Here comes your tennis ball. It's just a stupid ball moving through space. Anything extraordinary that may happen with it will require a lot of imaginative contemplation.